Hello YouTube. This is a video on iRacing. Specifically, it's about paint.net, some software you can find online. It works a little bit like Photoshop. First and foremost, I have no experience with Photoshop, and I have no experience editing photos professionally. I'm just a hobbyist who enjoys iRacing and enjoy painting the various cars that I drive. Going to make a couple of assumptions that you know how to download paint.net. You've downloaded it. You've also installed the Photoshop plugin. I'm also going to make an assumption that you have iRacing service and you know how to download the template file. Today I'll be using the Next Gen Camaro for our tutorial, or at least semi-tutorial I should say. But hopefully this experience will help you. The goal is to isolate car parts and be able to paint each one individually. I had a lot of issues just trying to trace and draw lines, and sometimes it doesn't work for every piece, and so this was an effort to create the ability to paint and customize each piece that's possible. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my paint.net file or program. I'm going to go to my open, and I'm going to open my template here that I got from iRacing. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I have all my layers visible. Make sure my color wheel visible. Now this is the file that you get from iRacing. This hasn't been edited in any way, so first and foremost. Step one is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to make this 2048 by 2048. Now the reason for that is I just want to make sure that my new file, canvas, whatever you want to call it, is the exact same size as what iRacing gives us. I'm going to rename background to, we'll name it mask, because I like to keep it similar to the structure that iRacing has. The other thing I'm going to do is fill in this canvas using the tool. I guess I should pull up my little hammer, my tools here, and use the paint bucket. I'm going to fill this in. So right now all we have is a gray canvas. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click the layer button twice down here, and I'm going to rename layer 2 as my car parts base. Now it's important to understand that you're not just going to get body panels, you're going to get everything that you're given as far as car parts goes, and each piece will be individual. Next one is layer 3. This isn't necessary, but I like to add it in here just because it helps me visualize what's happening. Now I'm going to go back to the original file. I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to make sure that wire is selected, highlighted. It stays blue when it's highlighted for me. I like to click the checkbox. It's not necessary 100% for what we're doing, but I like to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down or click on the magic wand here, and I'm going to select somewhere in gray. So I've selected everything that's in this gray area, and I'm going to now hold the control key and click inside the front windshield where it's gray, and I'm going to click in the gray area back here in the back windshield. Now that's going to do several things, but it highlights everything effectively that is not the car. So now what I need to do is hit Control I, which is going to invert our selection. And then I'm going to hit Control C to copy everything. And then I'm going to go over to the file we created. I'm going to make sure that I'm still on my wire layer, and I'm going to hit Control V as in Victor. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the old, or the file iRacing gives us. I like to deselect wire, and I need to make sure I'm on another layer. So I want to make sure it's a car pattern first and foremost. Again, I'll hit the checkbox just so I can see what's going on here. Now, I also haven't hit escape. I'm leaving everything highlighted as it is, and that allows us to keep the highlighted selections where they are as we jump from layer to layer. Now that I've selected car pattern 000, which is a good choice for this because it gives us solid colors, I'm going to hit Control C, which is now going to copy the same locations that we did in the wire layer that we just did, but it's going to copy the car pattern only. So now I'm going to go back to the new file we created. I'm going to make sure that I'm on my car parts base layer, and I'm going to hit Control V. Now I'm going to hit the escape key, and that is going to allow us to view, we have a mask so we can see the back a little bit easier to see. We have our car parts in solid color, and then we have the ability to turn on and off our wireframe. Now, why is this good? It depends on how you paint cars or how you desire to paint your cars. This allows you to isolate various pieces and components. So I'll give you an example on this next gen car. In the passenger, or on the passenger side, we'll call it the front section of it, and then the bottom maybe half of the door. There's actually 3 components or pieces that make up that window frame. And those 3 pieces are actually right here. I'll zoom in here. They're actually this one, and this one. These pieces here make up window trim on the car. Now there are some layers that you can turn on that say, oh, you'd like to black it out or whatever it is, but you needed to know that these pieces are the pieces you have to paint. And when you are in this mode, I'm going to go back to the old file here. When you're in this mode and you don't have anything selected, and you turn on the wire mask because you want to see all the car parts and you want to be able to do something with it, you have to select all these things individually. Now it's true that you can kind of go outside these green lines, and we'll talk about that in a second, but you have to be very precise in trying to make sure, because you can't just select red, because all this is connected. It's all connected. And so by doing it this way in this new file, we isolate every part possible, and that was the key factor here. Now when we turn on the wire, we can zoom in and we can see that there's a green outline here, and the green outline is essentially the boundary that iRacing uses as its mapping tool, as it formulates and wraps all these components together. This green corner right here essentially connects to the bottom layer, or the top part here connects to the top part here. So top part of the car on the front bumper connects to the top of the front side here, again on the driver's side. But if we go over to the original file and zoom in on that same area, we'll notice that there's a little bit additional color here. And that additional color had made it difficult for me to, again, isolate parts and paint them individually. So hopefully that this process will help somebody. So how can we, effectively use this as a tool? So, because we have to get from here to, we can't use this file. So we have to make sure that we paint something. So we'll deselect wire, we'll make sure we're on the car parts base, and we know this is the front bumper. So let's just select the front bumper, and when I do that, it's only going to select that. It's not going to try to pick up red from anything else because it's not connected. That same color isn't connected to anything else on the map here. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to paint it white. So I'm just going to choose a white color, and I'm going to paint that white. So that's great. We got a white color, but I need to copy that. So now I need to copy that. So I'm going to hit Control C, and I'm going to go back to my car here, and I'm on car pattern, so I'm going to hit Control V, and that gives me a white bumper. And then I'm going to scroll up and turn off wire. So, and then I'm going to hit Escape. So that gives us our ability to see a white bumper. Now you do see also that there's still some red here, but I think as you look at the wire mask, you'll see that it's here. And this red you will not see. This red isn't seen by the simulation. So hopefully this is helpful. Additionally, what you can do is some further customizations. We can go here, let's say, and we want to do, let's say we're going to select, we're still on car parts. Let's say we want two colors on our hood for some reason. We can select the wand and click the hood. And then let's make it, I don't know, green and black, for example. So we'll use green for one color and we'll use black for the other color. So I'm going to make sure these are switched here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm going to use our gradient tool, and I'm going to just drag that over. What you'll notice is that it doesn't affect anything but that component. So now what I can do is it's still highlighted. I can hit Control C and escape, or I don't have to escape, I'm sorry. So we can jump back over to our original file. Again, make sure wire's turned off, make sure our pattern's still here, and hit Control V, and that brings in that layer right there. And so I can hit escape, and then I can go through the normal process of file, save as, car underscore, and your number, and that will be what's on the hood of the vehicle. So hopefully this is helpful to some degree. I'm by no means an advanced user, but I know that you can do multiple fades and multiple customizations. You can translate all this to multiple car parts if you so chose. And I guess we can do an example of that real quick too, so you can see that. So let's say we wanted to do a fade to black, fade to green all the way, but we just wanted the car itself. So I can click here. I'll go ahead and just delete that because I don't want to do that. I want to change the color of that to, we'll just fill it in with green for now. And so we'll deselect that. So now I want to make sure that all these car parts are selected. So I got my hood, hit the Control, and then highlight all these, the bumper or the trunk lid. So we've got all these colors, and again we'll do the gradient. So we'll, and then we'll G that up, hit G, and then we'll fade that out. And that gives us like a really nice, just, we get to choose how far back we go, but gives us a nice green color. And then I can Control C, copy just the pieces I've highlighted again, jump back over to this original file, jump back up to the pattern that we're working on, and hit Control V. And again, that's going to allow just the pieces that we wanted to be highlighted and painted that particular color.